Okay, so you're starting to play these new notes on the clarinet, and one of the things we need to talk about is how to read these notes. Anytime we have a staff, which of course is 5 lines and 4 spaces, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's our regular staff. In our case, it's a treble clef. And so now we have our line, space, line, space, line, space, like we've always done before, right? Here's line number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then in between the lines it's space 1, space 2, space 3, and space 4. But the problem comes in, what happens, like when we start looking at our superstar clarinet, what happens when the notes go too low that they don't fit on the staff anymore, or potentially even too high? We end up doing something, adding something we call a ledger line. So it's the same thing as if the staff just got extended even further down or up. So in this case we have line, space, line, space, line, space, line, space, line. A space is above there, but if we wanted to go a line above that, we would need to add another line above that. We call that a ledger line, L-E-D-G-E-R. A ledger line, and a ledger line just says we're just extending the staff up. So there's one ledger line, and then another space, and then another ledger line, then another space, and another ledger line, and another space. So there would be line, space, line, space, line, space, line, just like we were going all the way up. So in this case, this is our top, which is every good boy does fine. Well, if that's F, the space above that would be G, the line above that would be A, because we're starting over again, then B, line C, D, E, and so on. And the same thing happens when we go below. If we need to go lower than that, we're used to seeing one ledger line, which is our C. When you see that note down there, because the lowest line is an E, and then the space below that is a D, and then that first ledger line would be a C. But we can keep going down further from there as well, right? C, the next one would be a B, and then an A, and then we would have to start over again with the G, and then the F, and the E, and so on from down there. So again, what we're seeing is we can extend the staff up, we can extend the staff down. In our case, it's a treble clef, and that's what we're looking at right now. As you're learning new notes, first thing you're going to find out is, guess what? Some of the notes do go down below the staff. And sometimes they will actually go above the staff. Right now this just shows up to a G, but again the A above that and going on from there. So let's take a quick look at this. Very important to understand, all we're doing is just extending the staff either to below the treble clef or above the treble clef, and that we still end up going line, space, line, space, line, space, line, space, line, just like we've always done before. So how do you remember which one's which when all of a sudden you see a note that looks like this? And you're going, I have no idea what that is. Well, and there's a couple things we can learn. Just like we learned every good boy does fine and FACE, there's other things we can do. On our Superstar page, one of the things we talk about is using CAFE. CAFE takes the lines, so the first ledger line is a C, the next ledger line is an A, the next ledger line is an F, and then the space below that would be an E, and it just spells CAFE. Well, that's a quick way of figuring out what you're doing. You know what the C is already. You already know what the B is. But now we go, well, if I got 2 lines, that's CA. That's an A. Third line, CAF. And if it's the space below that, CAFE. The only one you kind of have to memorize then is this one right there, which is the G. You know this is an F. You know this is an A. Well, what about the space in between there? And that is a G. All right, so let's take a look at some examples of that. All right, so we'll take our treble clef again. All right, everybody good so far? All right, so we take a look and say, hey, what note is that? Well, we know that that is the first ledger line. We know that's going to be a C. Okay, well, let's take a look at this. It's below the first ledger line, so it's not a C, it's the one below there, B. We've known those for a long time. Those are old notes. All right, then we start getting to our newer notes, our G and our A that we see on number 86 and number 88. So here's our C and our B, and then here we have our second ledger line. How do we do it? We start on this one, C, A, well obviously that's an A. And then what happens if we go below that? That's the tricky one right there, because we say C, A, F is below it. What's that one in between? Well, it's that low G. That's just one you kind of have to memorize. Okay? I'm kind of getting crooked there. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. So we see this, you go, I have no idea what that is. Look at all those lines. I don't know. Oh, sure you do. C, A, F. Spell cafe. Remember, C, A, F, E. Okay, so just spell cafe. C, A, F. That's an F. And then let's go ahead and extend this just a touch further. And that's as low as the clarinet can go. And we go, wait, there's 3 ledger lines, C, A, F, and that makes that an E. And that's what that looks like there. So as we start looking at our superstar notes, like right up here, then guess what? Here we have C, B flat, A, G, F, E. And then, oops, they didn't write what they are over here. There's 3 lines, C, A, F. They didn't write the letter names in over here, so we got to figure them out. Oh, I see 3 ledger lines. Well, what do we say? Cafe going from the top down, C, A, F. Well, that makes that an F. Oh, there's that weird one. I know 2 ledger lines is C, A, but I don't know what that is. Well, it's between that. That's the one we got to memorize. That's a G. 2 ledger lines, C, A. That's easy. And we already know what the B flat is. And we know what the C is. And the only one not showing there would be this E right here. At the top of your page, you see something like this. So it reminds us, here's C, B flat, A, G, F, E. And look what we did. The lines, the ledger lines, C, A, F. And then the space below is E. On the higher notes, then it makes it a little easier because most of them are on the staff plus 1 extra. So let's take a quick look at that. We already know our every good boy does fine. Every good boy does fine. We already know that, and the spaces are F, A, C, E. So that makes it a lot easier when we're looking at that note. We're going, oh, every good boy, that's a B. Now remembering the fingerings is a different part, but we want to make sure we can read the notes here. That's going to be a C, F, A, C. Well, that's easy. That's a D. Every good boy does. What's this one? F, A, C, E. That's a high E. There's a high F. That's easy. Now, when we get to the space above F, going up is a little easier because we're going up in the musical alphabet. And so here is our A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So we know we're going line, space, line, space. It's going to go up alphabetically. So there's going to be our G. And then if we need to go higher than that, we add a ledger line because that's what we do. And on this ledger line, we just go off alphabetically F, G, A. And the next one would be a B, and the next one would be a high C. And that's all you're going to see for a while. So that just teaches the basics of that. All right, so as you're starting to play these low notes and these high notes, remember the hardest part of new notes is reading them. Make sure you're forcing yourself to go through and read the notes and make sure you recognize them, not just trying to figure out how to play them by ear or trying to memorize all the songs. All right. Review this as many times as you need to. Ledger lines, easy. Bottom ledger lines, going down, C, A, F with the space E. And all you got to remember there is that G. That's the only one that's unusual to that. And the top ledger lines are easy. There's only a few going up. Space, line, going up alphabetically. All right. Have a great day.